have there been videos like you created ones like this one's going to explode and it fizzles, whereas you just this other video that you sort of half-ass it and it explodes. Have you had those that you just like scratch your head about?
Dude, I tell you what, if what that's the crazy thing about YouTube. You put especially, which is why I don't put a ton of like effects efforts into it because I'm like some of my like huge videos, I don't do a thing. I hop into the video game, I play like jack frags, I talk a little bit, I edit that, cut it up, and then just post it, and like people watch it.
Yeah.
But then I'll make a 30-minute video where I'm narrating the whole thing and I'm trying to get funny points along the way. I'll put in cool edits, and it gets 5,000 views, and you're like, well, why'd I do that? Why'd I do that?
So today I have a special guest. I have TactiGamer. Welcome to the podcast. But yeah,
Well, it's good to be here, Noof.
really, really great to have you on. And the way we start things off is with a few random questions. So are you ready?
Absolutely.
All right. Best thing about where you live?
My wife.
Excellent.
My wife and kids. Wife and kids. That's about it, man.
And when you were growing up, what was your favorite action movie as a kid?
Favorite action movie? It was either number one, Shooter. Gosh, that's a long one. Shooter, the Matrix series. I've probably seen Shooter the most.
Yeah.
So I'll say that.
All right. And the last TV show or movie you watched?
Last TV show I watched? Bluey.
Uh,
Bluey. I don't, to be honest, I do not hardly watch any like adult
yeah.
TV shows anymore. It's all if my kids want to watch Bluey, whatever.
Yeah, I remember that. I've got 3 kids, and I remember, going through the Wiggles phase, through Blue's Clues, and and Backyardigans. So,
Backyard. Ooh, we watched one of those the other day, and boy, they've aged.
Yeah.
I'll say that. They have not aged very well
nice.
Compared to today. But
Yep. Oh, man. All right. Well, hey, welcome to the podcast. So, first of all, let's go with the obvious. Where does the name come from?
Branding, to be honest. I was like, I was talking to my wife before I started the channel, and I won't get too far into this because I assume you want to talk about it a little bit later. But and I was just like, what can I choose that's going to really make me like people know why I'm here, what I'm doing, who I am, and I just was like, you know what, TactiGamer sounds good, so that's it.
Yeah, excellent.
That's simple.
All right. And now, before you became TactiGamer, what's your background before you found that go live button or the the YouTube button?
Oh man. Well, how far back do you want to go?
Wherever. Hey, it's your podcast. It's your story. However far you want to go back, dude.
Okay. All right. We'll start after college.
All right.
Because after college, I was a big gamer in college and everything like that. Call of Duty. Really loved some of that stuff, and I loved what some of the creators were doing on there. But I was a console gamer, so I really, really wanted. I was bummed that there was no milsim kind of stuff on console at that point,
Yeah.
So I would watch creators like Operator Drewski. I remember just seeing him play Arma. I didn't have a computer, no PC. I was like, man, that's just some cool stuff, man. I wish I could LARP my way all the time. And so then never got to experience that, but always wanted it. So I kept up with that stuff, followed it, watched it. When I graduated college, I moved to Arizona. And honestly, it's unfortunate because I wasted a ton of time there, right? I was single, didn't have anybody in my life.
Mm-hmm.
And so I remember coming home from work a lot of days. I'm an occupational therapist, by the way, by professional trade or whatever. And I just would sit down and play Battlefield and not do anything, right? I would watch a screen for a few hours, push buttons, listen to music or a sermon or something, which may sound weird, but it is what it is. And I look back now, and that's a lot of wasted time. Going forward, I met my wife on the internet. She was on Facebook. We were friends for some reason. I don't know. Came back, married her. Married her, and told her, like, I really don't like my job. If I could do one thing, like I would have my own business, and I think I want to be a YouTuber. I think that would be great.
Yeah.
She's like, well, let's put some money into it then. She's just like, go for it. I was like, okay, that's fantastic. So I we got a computer. I figured out how to sort of build one. We bought an old Intel or those Dell Optiplexes.
Yep.
Stuck a graphics card in there, and I just started playing and making content with like a $30 mic.
Yeah.
And I mean,
yeah,
that's just what it is. I was like,
Yeah.
and milsim obviously, or hardcore games, because one, that's what I wanted to do as a console gamer anyway. Two, I'm getting old, man. I can't keep up with the youngins. There ain't no way that I'm
Twitch
slide
quick
canceling on
reflexes.
anybody.
Yeah.
Way too late.
Yep, absolutely. Yeah,
So,
the whole milsim thing is really cool because I had Karma on a while ago, and he didn't have any military background.
yeah.
But when you hear him talk, the comms, like, I can't even keep up with that. It's like,
Oh, I
holy,
know,
that's a whole
100%.
nother level.
Well, yeah, I know. I mean, I don't have any military background, nothing like that. I like guns a lot,
Yeah.
but that's just I'm an American, so
Right.
so but to hear him say some of those things, like he obviously he's been doing it for years, so it just comes natural to him. But I'm like, there's a guy over there, right over there, north, I guess.
Yeah.
That's what I don't bring that to the table,
Yeah, absolutely. So the whole reason you had the support from your wife, she said go for it, which is fantastic, and that's sort of how you got into it.
Yeah. Well, yeah, and a lot of it, like, I wanted to be at home because I'm a family guy.
Yeah.
Love my family, love spending time with them. I just yesterday, I went outside. My wife was mowing the yard, and I was hanging out with my kids, and I'm like, some days this just feels like a vacation. Like it's crazy that I get to be a dad. Just love it. I started the channel before I was a dad, but shortly after I became a dad. So one of the things that I really wanted to do was be home a lot more to help mom out when I could. We are homeschooling our kids, so I want to be able to help out with some of that as well. So I just want to be, I want to be my own boss too.
Yeah.
Like I still do therapy. Like I just got back from my therapy job before this, and I tell you what, some of the rules and regulations and stuff that they're doing, and like it's more and more paperwork.
Yeah.
It's all just kind of silly, and like I don't generally like to be told what to do in that sense. So I was like, you know what, if I can kind of break out from that, and have a little bit more freedom, it's more difficult because it's more up and down when it comes to revenue. But in my opinion, it's more fulfilling because I love what I do, man. I love coming to the computer, sitting down, figuring out what I'm going to make a video on. So doing that and then having the freedom to be like, let's say mama's having a hard time with the kids later in the afternoon, be like, I tell you what, look, I'll get this. I'll work when they go to sleep. It's okay.
Yeah.
We can handle it. And so that's really where I wanted to be with the channel, was to be able to be home more.
Yeah.
At some point. And that was kind of my process 4 years ago. I think it was 4 years ago, thinking that. So
yeah. And
I'm only,
sorry,
go ahead. Oh, I just was going to say, I'm only part-time. I'm not a full-time content creator. Not yet anyway.
Yeah.
So
it's so important to, find something that you enjoy to do. And, because you have some people that just chase either the job, chase that promotion, chase the dollar, which in the end, that's not going to give you happiness. Have
not at all.
Finding that work-life balance of being present as a dad and a husband, and then doing something you enjoy that, is, bringing revenue. That's, what more can you ask for?
Yeah. I mean, and you say that, actually you brought that up about like chasing things. As a therapist, like even me just doing PRN stuff consistently, that's what I do. I'm pretty much at the top of what I can make as just a regular therapist.
Yeah.
Right. Now, if I wanted to climb a corporate ladder and be a big wig or something, I don't want to do that.
Yeah.
That's not me. I don't want to, like, that's just not me. Right. I'm not a bossy, okay, let's stick with
manage people and everything that goes along with that. Yeah.
And healthcare is just turning into a profit circle anyway. So I don't want to be a part of that.
Yeah.
And so that's that's another reason why I'm just
Yeah.
like, I can't go up from here when it comes to being a therapist, but I can scale a YouTube business as far as it possibly can go.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, the good side
So,
on the, the YouTube side of things, if I've had, people who just stream, people who do
hmm
YouTube and both that,
hmm
do both. The YouTube side, if you've got yourself established, that seems like the best of the two worlds because you could really just
100%.
create the content at your pace. You're not
Yep.
locked to a schedule, you're not locked to a
hmm
certain game and you need to be live. You
Yep.
can, bust your butt, create a bunch of content, and then take a day off or plan for like
Yeah.
3 days off. Build a vacation into it. So, your
100%.
mental health doesn't get drained or anything like that.
hmm Yeah, exactly. And uh that's sort of the reason why I wanted to do a little bit more live vlogging stuff too. I don't know if you know about the Gray channel. It was Tacti and it blew up really quick with a bunch of shorts. I don't know if you saw that.
No.
But yeah, I made a channel like a year and a half ago, 2 years ago, that was just 30 or 60-second shorts, but in horizontal format.
Yeah.
And at that time, for some reason, YouTube was really pushing that. Anyway, stopped doing that because they stopped caring about that, which whatever.
Yeah.
And then I started doing more like IRL stuff on that sort of goes along with like my energy drink brand and
Yeah.
stuff like that. But that's also why I wanted to do a little bit more IRL stuff because I wanted to be more personable with that. And then like if we do go on vacations or we do stuff like,
There's content there.
you can use there's content and also you can use some of that as a tax write-off.
Right.
You
Yeah.
know?
There you go.
Just nickel and dime it.
Yeah. And now, stepping back, let's go back to the video games. You said you were a console gamer. What were some of your, big ones that stick out for you?
Honestly, Call of Duty. And a lot of that was, that was the first game I remember picking up. The very first time I experienced Call of Duty in its like modern form was COD 4.
Yeah.
And I remember I was at a sleepover for the football team or something. Bunch of trouble there. But the guy had a PS3. Never seen one before. I was an Xbox guy.
Yeah.
Didn't have any of that. And I'm like, what is this? And so I played Call of Duty 4 Modern Warfare, and I was like, this is the greatest thing I've ever seen.
Yep.
It was just the single player one. I kept dying because I'm like, I don't understand why I keep dying. But I just remember the awe of, look, there's enemies over here, over here, over here. Look at the graphics. Look at the aiming. Like, I don't understand. This looks so good. So that was kind of the start of it.
Okay.
And I kept playing Call of Duty up until about the end of college is when I was playing because my roommates and my friends would play Call of Duty.
Yep.
That was just our thing. And then got into Battlefield shortly after that because I'm like, this looks even more real.
Right.
so I play the hardcore servers and I'm like, this is as close to Milsim as I can get,
On a console, absolutely, yeah.
Yep. Yeah. So that's sort of, I played other games, I played Assassin's Creed, but the main thing that stuck out with me was Call of Duty shooters in general. Halo, stuff like that.
And now, out of the Battlefield series, is it, I'm going to guess, was it 4? Is that the one that really is your favorite or one of the other ones?
Well, yeah, probably 4, just because that's the one that I played the most, probably. Yeah. I got my hands on 3 right before I graduated college, I think. My buddy had that game, and I was like, oh, this is really, really kind of cool. And I played a little bit of 1 afterward, but 4 just even when 1 was out, I didn't buy 5 or anything like that. Even when those were out, I just kept playing 4 all the time.
4 is so good. The DLC that they came out for,
great.
It's just that's the sweet spot for Battlefield for me, anyways. That one right there.
Yeah. Yep. I agree. A lot of nostalgia connected to that.
Yeah.
Just because,
the gaming memories, gaming with your boys and everything like that. Yeah, absolutely.
Yep.
And now, when so then you jumped into content creation, created YouTube. What was your first videos? What were some of the first videos you created?
So my first couple was like opinion videos. I did one that said, Activision is doing something. There's one specifically when Fallout 76 was released. like I was kind of excited for Fallout 76 because I'm like, now I got a PC, now I can enjoy it. But
Yeah.
I realized it looked kind of awful. So then I remember making a video of like what would make me buy Fallout 76, and like nobody cares about some random dude on the internet
Yeah.
4 years ago talking about why he would buy Fallout. And so I did buy Fallout 76 because the point was when they add people, I'll buy it, but I haven't played it more than 10 minutes.
Yeah.
Um, but just the early stuff was the opinions. I followed World War III a ton.
Yeah.
That was one of those things that I feel like I got on the ground early there.
Mhm.
Because like there was so much hype, but so few people were talking about what the game is bringing or what they've added with the updates and stuff. So a lot of it was that, and then the channel really started taking off once they started teasing their like new revamp, that a lot of Sandstorm,
Yeah.
and so just been kind of ping pong in between a lot of games until this point that it feels like a lot of those games have just kind of stopped.
Right.
So I've had to shift a little bit and figure out what the heck to do occasionally, and
Yeah.
now I'm trying to branch out a little bit more into like survival games
Mhm.
and even some more story based indie games. My headphones dying. But that's sort of where it started, and it
Okay.
just transitioned a little to right here.
Excellent. And now, did you have any editing background prior, and do you still do your own edit now?
I still do my own edits now. Did not have any editing background at all, so I tried to figure out what the heck to use. We didn't have a ton of money, so I
Yeah.
wasn't going to invest in like any of the Photoshop or anything like
Yeah.
that. I wasn't going to do the Premiere Pro. It's just like, I've always been one to get things done with as little as possible. That's sort of my forte.
Yeah.
I don't know. Get things done with as little as possible, with as much success as possible. And so I found DaVinci Resolve free.
Yeah.
Best thing I ever did. I
Nice.
mean, just super easy to use. It took a little bit to learn, but eventually you're just cutting a bunch of opinions up anyway, so it doesn't really matter that much. And
Yeah.
yeah, I would watch videos and sort of figure some stuff out, but not a whole lot because
Yeah.
my stuff isn't like deef level of fancy.
Right.
It's just more informative, I feel like. So the effects are sort of would be a waste of time.
Yeah.
And
now, over the years you've been, putting out content, was there, did you see a gradual just increase in your YouTube subscribers and interest,
Mhm.
or were there some, big videos you dropped, like that's the one that really launched things for you, like you were talking about World War III?
Yeah, there was the biggest video, or the first huge video that I had was on World War III's new movement. It compared the old and the new there, and uh, that went up to like 140,000 views or something like that, which was huge for me. I was getting 2,000,
Yeah.
sometimes 4,000 if I'm lucky, and so that was kind of the point where things clicked for me too. Like, okay, this is what I've got to be doing for people to actually want to click on my stuff.
Yeah.
How can I implement that further? But then also to go along with that, name recognition, people start seeing TactiGamer pop
Right.
up, and they're like, okay, I recognize that name. And but that was a big one. That was the one that got me monetized as well.
Nice.
And that was after, I want to say, about 10 months of making videos at that point.
Yeah.
So it took me about a year to get a little bit over 1,000, I think, if I remember correctly.
Yeah. All right. And now, since you started, have there been videos like you created ones like this one's going to explode and it fizzles, whereas you just this other video that you sort of half-ass it and it explodes? Have you had those that you just like scratch your head about?
Dude, I tell you what, if that's the crazy thing about YouTube. You put, especially, which is why I don't put a ton of like effects efforts into the bit, because I'm like, some of my like huge videos, I don't do a thing. I hop into the video game, I play like jack frags, I talk a little bit, I edit that, cut it up, and then just post it, and like people watch it.
Yeah.
But then I'll make a 30-minute video where I'm narrating the whole thing and I'm trying to get funny points along the way. I'll put in cool edits, and it gets 5,000 views, and you're like, well, why'd I do that?
Right. Yeah, absolutely.
So often it has happened quite often.
Yeah.
And it's just, I think a lot of it is about timing and like what do people, I think I misjudge sometimes what people actually want.
Yeah.
Or expect from the channel, because that could be a hindrance as well.
Yeah.
But
and now, have you found that thumbnails really make a difference for for the content you're creating, or like again, it's hit and miss?
It's hit or miss. I think I am I'll say the laziest thumbnail creator. Look, man, I use GIMP, so I told you I didn't buy into Photoshop. I got the free version of GIMP. I downloaded the Qt gimmick. I don't know what it's called. Anyway, there's an attachment or a download with everything on it, and all I do is I take a screenshot of reloading or something, and I add some like realism effects to it in different ways with the details.
Yeah.
And change the color a little bit, put a little vignette around it. Excuse me. And that's
that's
it.
Secret.
Because if I do anything else, everyone's like, what is this?
Yeah.
So I feel like it works a majority of the time.
Yeah. Excellent. And how about that, do you remember when you first saw that one video that cracked 1 million?
The sandstorm video?
Yeah.
Or do you not?
No, I'm asking you about, what video, like, were you shocked, like, when it hit, like, holy crap, 1 million people have seen this video?
With that one, no, just because it took like 2 years to get there.
Yeah.
So like I saw it would creep up along the way, and I think it's at 1.5 million views, which is awesome. I mean, that's crazy. And over 2 years, it's a decent little revenue chunk. But at this point, I'm just so go as much as I can that it's just another video at this point to me. So it's not like a huge accomplishment, especially since shorts started rolling out, and 1 million views on my shorts is kind of nothing anymore. I mean, they're just getting, some of them have gotten a couple million.
Yeah.
So million just wasn't a big number too much after the shorts rolled out, I think.
That's true. And now, when it comes to your videos, what is your sort of concept to go from concept to like and subscribe, from a workflow standpoint? Do you jump into a game and then just sort of play it and then figure things out? Or do you have a plan or how you approach, creating your videos?
Because some days I still feel like a rookie, I just kind of jump in and don't know what to expect, but that tends to lead to some very like poor quality gameplay with no commentary.
Yeah.
But I still, for some reason, do that. I found that if I really set up the video beforehand of how I want to do it, what I want to add to it, how I want the intro to go, if there's going to be an intro, then things tend to work a little bit better as far as I'll play the game afterward and I'll get good content with that. But a lot of the things that I want to, if it's just going to be gameplay, I just want to sort of share my learning experience with it. Like, oh, there's this and there's this, and oh, this is a cool feature. I feel like that's kind of a story in itself for people to watch. But a lot of times that's difficult too, because the first few rounds of anything for me, I look like a 3-year-old trying to play a game. So, yeah, exactly. So I just can't. Ideally, I know that setting up an idea would be the best route. In practice, I just don't always have time for that.
Yeah.
And so then I'm like, I just got to get this video on this out, because the algorithm, if you don't get something out about a specific thing, I mean, chances are everybody's already watched something about it, so they don't really care what you have to say. So, that would be the ideal, is to really plan it out and have that script of the intro first,
Yeah.
and then gameplay after.
All
So
right. And now, do you, with, sort of keeping up the algorithm, do you aim to have a
mhm.
certain number of videos per week, or you aim to keep a video to a certain time length?
Certain time, that's always, honestly, that's always an experiment. Now the videos, I really, I want to have at least 2 videos a week. I wish I could get like 3. I'm thinking of experimenting more and doing the Jack Frags style, the almost daily, but
Yeah.
some of it's just gameplay. You know what I mean? He
Mm-hmm.
he just has his own, that's just his pattern.
Yeah.
And I've thought about experimenting with that a little bit to see, okay, so what does it look like if I do something like that? And do I have the capabilities to even do something as frequently as that if I can't really do even sometimes 2 videos a week?
Do you target a certain number of videos per week? Length,
Oh
how
yeah.
long a video is?
Lengthwise, I'm experimenting with that as well because a lot of my older videos will be like 8 to 12 minutes,
Yeah.
right? But lately, watch time on YouTube has been the biggest push for anything. So I'm like, okay, well, what if I do a 45-minute video? What if I do an hour-long video?
Yeah.
Like, what does that watch time look like? How can I like, are people wanting that?
Right.
You know what I mean? So it's always, some days I feel like they do.
Yeah.
Excuse me. Some days they would prefer that information, and maybe I'm just doing myself a disservice, and there are 2 separate uh, groups. One wants the long form, and one wants the quick information, and
Right.
maybe I'm just sort of trying too much for either one, and not
Finding
and
that
hitting
sweet
only a
spot.
little bit of either. Yeah, yeah, yeah. You know
Yeah.
what I mean?
Yep.
So.
And now, the other aspect of that too is, have you found
Mhm.
that certain days of the week do better versus other days of the week, times of the day, or is it just whenever you can get a video, you pop it out there?
Whenever I get a video, I pop it out there. However, I would say on Sundays, for some reason, Sundays viewership tends to go up a little bit.
Yeah.
Views, subscribed, I've noticed that for 4 years, and I don't know if that's just people don't have anything to do that day
Yeah.
or what, but that tends to be the day that I get the most views, um, and all the interaction and stuff like
Yeah.
that. So
Okay.
ideally, if I could get one out on Friday, it would probably be the best.
Yeah.
Friday or early Saturday morning. So by Sunday, it would get more views and boost it in the algorithm. So
Yeah.
that's my guess. I haven't really tested
Okay.
that because I'm just like, okay, I'm finished with the video. Let's get it out.
Right. Yeah. And then on the tail side of that, having your long form content done, what do you do
Mhm.
from your shorts? Do you just basically, after your long form is done, you start, chopping up shorts for that same video?
All of my shorts were from that shorts, most of them, I should say, were from that shorts channel that I was talking about that I did horizontally,
Yeah.
right? Those got huge numbers. Like there was one that had 4.5 million
Wow.
views or something like that. Yeah. I don't know what it was about it at that time. People just wanted short horizontal ones and they were just intrigued by it. I don't know. Um, so all I did with those, and there's a couple with thousands and thousands, is put them into a vertical format, edit them a certain way,
Yeah.
and that tended to work just as well. So because what I really try to do is script it so that I have the hook at the end, and a lot of or the hook at the beginning, and then drag it out to the end at 50 seconds where they figure out what I'm actually talking about.
Yeah.
But I don't do shorts much anymore, to be honest. I just got on TikTok and they like the horizontal over a minute things now, so I'm back to scripting some of that.
Yeah.
But most of my stuff is pretty easy to edit when it comes to those shorts anyway,
Yeah.
because it's just informative about something. It doesn't have to be super fancy. So it's a whole new process.
Yeah.
It's not really that I take something from that specific video.
Yeah. And now, how do you go about finding the games you're going to approach? Because I'm assuming that
Mhm,
you've got to get in there early, because that's the
mhm,
getting in a new game, getting that content out is
mhm.
what are
Yeah,
going to pull in views. How do you go about
yeah.
finding those sort of the diamonds in the rough type thing?
They just kind of show up. I don't know. People will sometimes recommend them to me.
Yeah.
Sometimes I'll see a random like tweet on it, or if there's called tweets that post on it. Uh, that I mean, that's about it. I don't know. A lot of them have just sort of shown up, or I've been in this field that someone has already maybe mentioned it, or it'll
Yeah.
show up on my time. I don't know. They just show up. I don't really do a ton of research when it comes to like, okay, what game can I do now? Is there something that I'm missing? I'll just stumble across it.
Yeah.
And if I don't, then I'll just do something more mainstream or like what everybody knows, and maybe try to do something interesting about it.
Yeah.
So sort of the process.
All right. And then, from an engagement standpoint, some people, some creators love just being that antagonist in the comments to just, keep that sort of view, that engagement going. How do you,
Mhm.
do you go through all of your comments and just, sort of try to reply to all of them, or just
Mhm. I am much more active on like X or Twitter than I am in regards to like engaging with people. I don't do a great job. I know it's probably good to go through and comment to especially the positive people
right.
for you. I mean, if you're gonna take the time to respond to any comments, it should be to the positive people because they're the ones supporting you anyway.
Yeah.
But I personally don't comment on a lot. I don't go through a lot. Like I don't really care if someone says anything bad. Sometimes I just think that they I mean, generally speaking, have probably just a lower IQ. So I'm like, why would you even say that?
Yeah.
But yeah, just especially when you make shorts and you get millions of views on it, you get a lot of like goobers just commenting.
That's a good way to put it. Yeah.
You're just like, I believe what you want, buddy.
Yeah.
You can say what you want. You're the one that's watching shorts right now anyway.
Right.
So
And you're the one leaving a comment.
Yeah, exactly. Like, what are you doing? You just watched the whole short, left a comment, which probably went through the short again anyway.
Yeah.
So what are you doing, buddy? Am I really worth that time to you?
Right.
So when you see enough, you're just like, but in the early days, I remember thinking after like I started doing all those shorts and like got used to it after a couple of years of like bad comments, if I would have gotten millions of views on a short that I made 2 months into me being a creator, and if I would have gotten some of those comments, that would have been tough.
Yeah.
Like I would not have been prepared for those things, I don't think, just because I'd be like, I'm not used to the world being so crazy.
Yeah, that's
right?
a good way of putting it.
I mean, I just don't know what else to call it if you're willing to comment on someone else's video that you don't like them. Like,
right. Yeah. There's
okay,
all sorts
goofball.
out there. There is.
There's all sorts.
Yep, absolutely. And now, over the years, for you, what has been some of the more difficult things or challenging things of trying to be a YouTuber or a content creator?
Yeah. Family.
Yeah.
I am, and that's why I mentioned earlier that I wish I would have started sooner. Wasted a lot of time.
Yeah.
Could have been here a lot sooner. Now that I have a family and kids and a wife that I love very much, they come first priority. Things just don't always work out.
Yeah.
Right. I was talking to my wife about this yesterday. Sometimes I just got to ditch, and I don't want to.
Yeah.
But like my kid's sick right now. He's got a double ear infection. We've got 2 other kids sleeping upstairs. He's screaming. We have to figure out how to get him downstairs and to like calm him down.
Right.
And like even yesterday afternoon, the same thing happened. I was playing with my buddy Blue on this new game, and we were having a really good round. It was going to be a really good recording. And then my son woke up. My wife was outside mowing the yard.
Yeah.
He's screaming. I got to go tend to him. You know, he's my son.
Absolutely.
So if I did not have a family, the videos would be pounded out much quicker. I would be a lot more I would have a lot more money. I don't want to say I would be a richer man,
right,
because I don't think I would be a richer man, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
But I would have a lot more money because these videos would work.
Yeah.
But I also wouldn't have the channel itself because my wife was the one that was like, just do it.
Exactly.
And that really, having a family, being the sole provider, my wife doesn't work. She's a stay-at-home mom.
Yeah.
That makes me buckle down and really push me through those. Yeah. So family is the toughest thing.
Yeah.
And that's why I try to encourage people, hey, look, if you haven't had kids yet, man, if you got to get on it now, because I spent the first 3 years of the channel waking up getting on the computer at 4:30 in the morning before my full-time job
Mm-hmm.
so that I can make content, so that I could be home with this family
Yeah.
more, and also not take time away from them
Right.
because
That's
I
not fair
if
to
I
them. That's
what's that?
that's not fair to them for you to just,
Exactly.
hop down in the basement and disappear for the waking hours while everybody's
Yeah,
awake and you can bond and spend time with the whole family.
exactly, exactly, especially if I'm working until 4 o'clock.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna go downstairs for another 3 hours and not see them until 7.
Right.
Like, then that ruins the point of what I was trying to do in the first place,
Yep. You might as well
you
just
know?
go 8 to 5 job and be away for the
Well,
whole day.
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly, exactly, and have less stress,
Yeah.
because I'm somewhere else doing something and it doesn't it's steady money.
Right.
You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah, absolutely. And then, having, that supportive spouse is so huge. And that's what I've
Mhm.
seen for a lot of the other successful creators, whether it's, the wife or the husband or
Mhm.
the parents. It's, having
Yeah.
that one who's, the one that's got your back and just, sort of biggest cheerleader. That is so huge
Yeah.
to have.
Yeah. Now, in the early days, like, she supported me obviously, but there still were times that, like, she's like, "You're" she would she wouldn't express this verbally, but she would say that, like, she thought this. She's
Yeah.
like, "You're just downstairs playing video games. Like, it's a side thing. It's not that big a deal.
Yeah.
Like, why do you wanna do this so bad?" She would tell you that too, so I'm not talking bad about her. Um, but then she's like, we started seeing some dramatic increases
Yeah.
in the paycheck there. Like, hey, this is actually providing for the family.
Right.
Hey, this is great. And so we've had to take steps to really make it a job thing too, because working from home with kids isn't always
Yep.
easy to set the boundaries and stuff.
Yeah.
So, it's just whatever the day brings. Sometimes the day just brings it.
Yeah, you just got to roll with it and adjust.
Yep.
Yep,
Yep.
absolutely. Being flexible, and that's one of the nice
Yep.
things about being the focus of YouTube versus being a live Twitch streamer. Is like if you're
Yep.
on, you just spent an hour to
100%.
get your viewership up to whatever it's going to be, and then you can't just hop off
Right.
and come back in an hour because now you've just lost. You're not going to
Yeah.
you're not going to get your viewership up being inconsistent.
Which starting to live stream now, I am just starting. Like, I haven't made any money from it or anything like
Yeah.
that. That's been the biggest hindrance. Like, that's been what's prevented me most from live streaming, because I'm like, I never know what's going to happen.
Right.
I never know when there's going to be a giant meltdown and my kids are going to start
Right.
throwing each other against the wall or
Right.
something. You just never know.
Yeah.
So I need to start. I don't know. Maybe doing it early in the morning. Normally, Mama takes them out to go do something fun. They're at the
Yeah.
pool right now, so I don't know. I don't know how to fix it yet.
Yeah.
So it's just an experiment.
Right. And that's I don't know. I think if you're going to pick a path, whether you're going to create content or be a streamer, I think being the streamer is a lot harder just because of
Yep.
the schedule, discoverability, and just you need to be on. There's no like
Yeah.
if you're feeling under weather, you can still can edit a video.
Right.
But not when you're live. Nobody wants to see
Yep.
somebody who is miserable and just you got to be on.
100%. Yeah, 100%, man. I wouldn't do it any other way. I think if anyone wants to start it, YouTube is got to be the place to be. If you can figure out a way to streamline it so much that, like, your YouTube content goes into your TikTok, you can do shorts from it. If you can figure out a way to do that, half of YouTube, I think, is brand recognition, right?
Mhm.
That's half of, like, social media.
Yeah.
What is your brand? How are you branded? Do people know who you are? Right? And
Yeah.
people aren't going to know who you are the first probably 20 videos unless you're some crazy madman, right?
Right. Do
Like, I don't
something
know.
over the top that just nobody else has done.
And that literally nobody else is doing. Even if you're a crazy good gamer, people aren't going to be like, "Oh, I love this montage of you," because montages are like in 2015.
Yes.
I mean, it's just not going to happen.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, and what I've found is the YouTubers, they use the live aspect of it as sort of their break, their getaway, go hang with the boys. Whether it's Aqua or General Sam, they use the
Yep.
live streams for just having fun.
Yep, which is why I started live streaming. Like sometimes I'm a bump on a log when I just play video games and am just getting gameplay. But if I can add some interaction, if I turn on the camera and I'm talking to people, I can have a good time. And
Yeah.
The past few streams, I've just tried to have fun.
Yeah.
And it feels better because a lot of my video gaming now, most of it anyway, is not for pleasure. It's always for business, right? I
Right.
just don't have time to play a video game because
Yeah.
I want to progress, I want to know it. And this is maybe a way to get back into that because like I, I say this, my wife thinks I'm the funniest person in the whole world, which great.
Yeah.
I think I'm pretty funny. But as soon as I hit the record button and I've got nobody else around and I've got no camera on, no going live,
Yeah.
I feel like a brick wall. I
Right.
feel like, what the heck am I doing? Like this isn't fun for me.
Yeah.
I'm having fun by myself. I don't
Right.
know. So yeah, those live streams are a big way to have a lot more fun, I think,
Yeah.
when
And
it comes
also
to
somebody who's watched all your videos on YouTube next see, hey,
Mhm.
I can go talk to him. I can ask him a couple of
Yeah.
questions.
Oh yeah.
And you're not, the pressure isn't on you to be that live streamer. You can just it's just kick back, hang out essentially.
Yeah, exactly. Just show off my personality.
Yeah.
My goal is to be a positive role model in gaming. So
Yeah.
my passion, just because like some of my background and what I've been learning along the way being married is like I want to encourage dads to be good dads, husbands to be good husbands,
Yeah.
even like single men to be good single men. Uh, Women, I mean, they're 2% of my audience, so I don't really have much to say to
Right.
them or about them or for them,
Yeah.
whatever they want to watch. But uh, I just I want to be a positive role model in this sphere
Yeah.
because there are a lot of goofballs, especially.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you see it
Oh, it's
every other
awful.
clip,
Some of the
you
stuff
know?
people put out there, and whether it's the antagonist in the mall that's doing just stupid.
Yeah,
I don't know. Maybe because I'm old, I don't get it, and I just think
I
it's
don't know
really
how it's funny.
disrespectful.
I seriously do not know. I look back, I mean, but as a kid, I also thought Napoleon Dynamite was funny,
Yeah.
and so then when I look back at that, I tried to watch it years later. I'm just like, this is the worst movie I've ever seen. What are we doing? Why
Yeah.
did I think this is funny?
Yeah. But you grow up and mature, and
Yeah,
but yeah, yeah. Sometimes I'm just scratching my head. It's like, why? But that's life.
it's a lot of it's just kids. Like
Mm-hmm.
they just think that things are outrageously funny, and
Yep.
because their brains haven't developed. Like there's
Right.
no other
Yeah.
way to put that.
That is true.
They're not our age. They just realize that that's stupid, so they think it's funny.
Yeah. And now, when it comes to, the games like we've had,
Mhm.
to me, it seems like the last, I don't know, 6 months, 9 to 6 months, we've seen some really good developers come out and be really
Yeah,
engaged with the community, whether it's,
yeah,
Gray Zone Warfare or the Beautiful Light guys, Road to Vostok.
yeah,
They seem engaging and they're doing the right
yeah.
things.
100%, man. I'm stoked about it. Like I think I like this industry because I like how everyone kind of commingles a little bit
Right.
and seeing the Beautiful Light team like cheer on the um Gray Zone Warfare team, Road to Vostok. I mean, all those indie guys. I've spoken with some of them, not all of them, but
Yeah.
they're just easy guys to talk to, and they're like they're passionate about their game. They're passionate about the gaming in general.
Yeah.
They want to build a good product, and they don't really want to do anything crazy or scummy or anything
Right.
like that. And so they're filling you along, filling us, uh, filling us along the way,
Bringing us
filling
along
us.
the way or including us.
Yeah, something like that. I
Yeah.
don't know what I lost my vocab after I had kids. Um,
And watching Bluey.
but and watch it. Tell you what, Bluey will make you a better dad. I don't know if you've ever seen Bluey, but that is a very good TV show. Um, but yeah, I love how they're interacting, engaged with the community, and it makes everybody feel better,
Yeah.
feel at ease. They earn trust that way,
Mm-hmm.
um, and they just do a lot of things that just I think brings it into the gaming experience that those AAA devs that Call of Duty and stuff like that
Yeah.
they just can't do because they're a big corporation,
Right.
right? It's personalizing the game more than, I don't know, it's just adding life to the game. So
Yeah.
I really enjoy how they do that.
Yeah, like when I think Grayzone was having some issues or something, you had Eric from
Hmm.
Beautiful Light come out, add some. It was
Yeah,
just
yeah,
great.
yeah.
They all got each other's back. Or yeah, it's just I
Hmm.
really it's good to see.
Yeah, because it's not. I mean, it is kind of competition, but at the same time, like there are very few people that in our realm, in the tactical gaming realm, that won't swap games every 2 weeks,
Yeah.
right? So with Call of Duty, what you'll have is a lot of kids just stick with Call of Duty, and that's
Hmm.
fine. Or a lot of adults too.
Yeah.
That's just their game, especially if they're just a console, come home after work, get on the sticks, whatever. But with the indie sphere like this, I feel like if one thrives, others can thrive too,
Yeah.
because they're similar in an experience, in a hardcore experience they want to provide, but at the same time they're different enough that they're
Hmm.
different games.
Yeah.
So people that buy Grayzone Warfare are likely going to buy Beautiful Light.
Yep.
And even Road to Vostok, even though that's a single player game, same thing.
Yep.
They like the hardcore, modern weapons, realistic experience.
Right.
So the better that those do,
Yep.
and the more that they interact, the better their brand recognition goes, the better the sales are for each and every one of them. So
Yeah. And helping each other out, whether it's issues and things like that, just
Mhm.
in the end, it lets them create a better product. Which in the
Mhm.
end, on top of that, it just the gamers, it provides better product for the gamers to enjoy.
Yep, absolutely.
Yeah. And now, what's your sort of, are there any games you're looking forward to coming out other than the, sort of the few we just talked about?
I'm looking forward to Stalker 2. I never got into Stalker.
Same. Yep.
Uh, I've watched a lot. My buddy Custerplays does a lot of really great stuff with that, and looking forward to that. Looking forward to, oh no, what's it? Pioneer.
Mm-hmm.
If you remember that
Yep.
game, Pioneer. I don't know why it's called that, but it is what it is. That's probably my number one game that I'm looking forward to after the release.
Nice.
Recent stuff, just because the movement looks fairly smooth, but it's still got that hardcore gritty feel to it. Could be a flop, I don't know, but it looks good.
Yeah, and this last week with PC Gaming Show 83, I don't know, I was excited for it, and then I saw it, I was like, I don't know.
I'm excited for it, not because of the trailer. The trailer was not fantastic.
Yeah.
Especially because there were no first person stuff, no first person shots. So
yeah.
They actually ended up messaging me, so I've talked to them just a little bit.
Yeah.
And I'm still looking forward to it because I know what Rising Storm 2 was, and I enjoyed a lot of the mechanics. I enjoyed how casual but how like realistic that game was.
Yeah.
And I'm expecting the same for 83, just with a little bit more realism on top of it, because I think Rising Storm 2 was made on Unreal Engine 3. Yeah. So I'm not super worried about the trailer. That can be hastily made, and they just didn't want to show specific things, I guess. But seriously, all you got to do as an indie dev is just slow walk, pan a little bit. This is all Delta Force has been doing. Delta Force is another one that I'm intrigued about. But they just slow walk, they pan back and forth, maybe do a reload, inspect. I don't know, something like that. That's all you need to get hype anymore.
Yeah, no doubt about that. And now, when it comes to a value out of the game, what do where's your break-even point from a game standpoint where you feel like you've got your value, your money out of a game? And just to preface that, for me, if I go to a movie, it's $20 to see a movie that may be 2 hours long. So $10 an hour. If I'm dropping $60 on a game, if I get 10 hours, I'm broke even on a game.
See, that's what I think with some of these games. Now there have been some recent things that make me think, I wouldn't charge that for that, but I think you know that as well.
Yeah.
I think you saw the tweet, but for the most part, like I guess it's just dependent on the market, you know? Because like if you think about a certain amount of dollar per hour, that's a fair way to look at video gaming, right? Like I've got hundreds of hours in a couple of these games, that were $30.
Right.
Do you know how much per hour that I've spent with this? Like minuscule amounts for hours and hours of entertainment.
Right.
Right. So I feel like that's the most fair way to think about it when it comes to what a game is worth.
Yeah.
But also it just depends on what everything else on the market does. Like, if those big companies are going to raise their prices, chances are prices are just going to steadily keep going up for indie games too, and that's just things like inflation,
right, and cover their costs
obviously,
and things like that.
Yeah. So,
I
don't know.
I find it funny when somebody who has, like, game's been out for a while, people got thousands of hours in a game, and they're bitching about it. It's like,
dude,
you don't,
what are you doing?
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, you got thousands of hours. Why are you sitting down for that long for a game that you hate?
Right.
That's a literal touch grass situation. Go touch grass. Seriously.
Yeah. So now, a few months ago, something special happened with your Grayman lifestyle. You got put in a game.
I did. How did that happen? Am forever ingrained into a game. You know what? Rick, who is just a great guy, man. I'm sure you've probably talked to him.
He's been on the podcast, yeah.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. I'm a Christian, he's a Christian, so we get to talk about the Lord and everything like that.
Nice.
Which is always great. But we were just in the playtest early with the creators, and I had branded my thing perfectly months prior, apparently, that like this game is gray. I mean, it's got the gray name in it,
right?
So it only makes sense for them to be like, you know what, we might as well. So he's like, hey, what do you think about this? And I was like, well, heck yeah, that'd be awesome. Like, then it got me thinking, like, why aren't more companies paying video games to put not even as an advertisement, to put their product into it? I know sometimes they have to go buy like licenses for different guns and stuff like that. I think that's still the process, but like, why wouldn't manufacturers? I suppose that could be a lawsuit thing, but other items in the game,
right? Just like in movies, you see it like Apple products in certain movies. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, why wouldn't you want that? That is. I mean, it hasn't really done a ton for me because I haven't really pushed it a whole lot either. But at the same time, like, thousands of people play that game.
Right.
They've sold 900,000 copies.
Yeah.
Right. So there's a possibility 900,000 people are going to see my product, whether they know it's a product or not, in this game.
Yeah.
And like, that's a real thing that you can actually drink.
Right. Yeah.
So it just was a really cool, kind act for them that worked out really well with the branding.
Yeah.
So that was fantastic to me.
Excellent. And now let's hear the story on Grayman Lifestyle, the drink that you. So how did you end up?
Yeah.
What made you decide to let me brand a drink?
Yeah. Well, so I wanted to, like, the idea of how to monetize stuff is always on my mind when it comes to content creation. Ad revenue is so fickle. There was a month, just as an example, there was a month I made $4,000, like a year and a half ago or whatever. Then they changed the algorithm or something. I don't know, but I have not hit that since then. But excuse me. I was like, how can I provide value? Everyone has a t-shirt. I don't want people to have to buy a t-shirt to support me or what. It's just a t-shirt,
right.
I wanted to be different some way, shape, or form. I wanted to stand out in that sense that, like, I would have something that people could buy to support me, but also provides value to them. I'm a big caffeine guy, even though I'm trying to cut back. So I'm like, I really like energy drinks. And so I explored distributors and stuff like that. Mine is not like a super fancy mix. I didn't study it for years. Someone else did all that.
Yeah.
And they had it. So it was a pre-made formula that is packaged same. There's other vitamins and stuff on there that came along with the deal with the distributor, but it's all just packaged there. But I was like, you know what? Energy, focus, that's the stuff that I'm intrigued about. That's the stuff that, like, I ingest energy drinks often. I love energy drinks. And anything to get that the mind. I like the movie Limitless, by the way. So anything to get as close to that as possible. I'm like, okay, how can I do that? How can I be as productive and as smart as possible?
Yeah.
So that's kind of the route that I went
Okay.
with it. And with the gray branding, I wanted to, like, all those energy drinks are super colorful, right? They're this splash of color. There's G Fuel is great at designs and stuff, but it's so colorful with all that around there. So I wanted something that, like, if you put it on a shelf, it would stand out to you because it's the gray. It's a dark one. It is something that doesn't stand out, but at the same time does, and it's effective.
Yep.
So and the Grayman thing, I am, the other day my wife told me that I looked very earthy. Because I wear like earth tones and stuff, and the idea of like being a hidden force or hidden like asset has always intrigued me.
Yeah.
So I just was like, you know what, Grayman lifestyle, maybe I can implement some like IRL stuff on how to be an effective person, be a controlled person, be someone that can that will blend in with everybody else, but if when they need to stand out, whether that's physically, mentally, emotionally, I'm still working on that, all that stuff there. That's just something that's got to grow, and I just got to figure it out, you know.
Very cool.
But yeah,
excellent. So that's the story. I like it.
That's the story. And so then I got a bunch of these. Those, I've got a few back here, but most of these I've done myself back here. I've consumed myself, so I'm a consumer for sure. So if all else fails, I have a discounted energy drink that I can have every day. You know what I mean?
Excellent. And if people are looking to, how do they find it?
Just graymanlifestyle.com. You can get that. There's some nootropics, if you know what those are, just the mental clarity stuff. There's mushrooms if you're into that. Not like the trippy mushrooms, but immune boosting, focus boosting. And then there's greens if you feel like you need greens in your life.
Oh, all right. Perfect.
There you go.
All right. And now, after you're done creating your content, playing games, what do you enjoy away? Say mom's taking the kids out to do something. You've got an hour at home. What are you doing?
I gotta be honest. I mean, I don't take, if I have an hour to do something, it's gonna be down here working. Most likely. Now, when I do get out, normally it's with the kids. So if I could do something, it would be go fishing outside of the house.
Nice.
I enjoy fishing. But at home here, if I just have an hour, I'm gonna be down here doing something, working or something like that. So
all right.
That's what, but I love fishing, outdoor stuff, hiking if I could. Be fantastic.
Excellent. All right. Well, hey, Tacti, you survived the podcast. Really appreciate you coming on and taking the time. But like with past guests, before I let you go, who in your circle, peer group, you think would have a good story to come on?
Okay. So you said you talked to Pears already. Well, I got to go down my list, man. You talked to Custer yet?
No, I haven't. I haven't heard of Custer before.
Custerplays.
Okay.
Deef would be a good one if you haven't had Deef on yet. Nope, he would be a really good one. He's a very I don't know if he shows his face, so you might just have that.
Hey, I've had people on who are just, I just put up the logo, so that works too.
Yeah, that might work for him.
All right.
Those are probably the two main ones. Those are two good friends of mine. I hope I don't miss someone to where they get offended, but I don't think so. I think I'm looking through my recent conversation lists, and I don't think I see anybody that would be on here. But yeah, definitely those two.
Excellent. All right. Well, hey, thank you so much, and best of luck to you.
Well, Noof, thank you so much for having me on. I truly appreciate it, and I look forward to seeing more of your content, buddy.
Excellent.